Assalamu alaikum girls. Today we are going to learn about the large intestine. Okay, first of all we have to check, we have to revise some portion from the small intestine. The last part of small intestine is known as ileum, and the junction where ileum is going to join with the large intestine, that junction is known as ileocecal junction, right? And this junction is it is guarded by a valve. Okay, the valve name is ileocecal valve. This is going to prevent the one way of flow of food. Once the food has been entered from small intestine to the large intestine, this valve is going to close and backward flow of food is not possible. So this junction is also provided with the ring of circular muscles. So ring of those smooth circular muscle is known as ileocecal sphincter. So these sphincter are these circular muscle, then they are going to show relaxation. The sphincter opening is going to open and the food from the small intestine is going to be poured into the large intestine. And when the circular muscle of ileocecal sphincter, they are going to show contraction. Food is going to remain inside the small intestine. It is not going to enter into the large intestine. Now we are going to see the overall structure of a large intestine. See, this is the overall structure of the large intestine, right? So first of all, the first part of the large intestine is known as the cecum. Cecum is the proximal end of the large intestine, and this is the part where large and small intestine they are going to meet. So cecum extends inferiorly about 6 centimeter behind the ileocecal junction in the form of a blind sac. So this blind sac, which is present at the inferior of the cecum, this sac is known as it is called as appendix. Okay, the walls of the appendix contain many lymph nodules, right? It is having the lymph nodules inside. No known function of appendix is there. It is called the ruminant or an organ which is having no function, right? Okay, then we have to check that cecum is further going to extend upward, and the next part is collectively known as the colon, right? So colon has been divided into 4 segments. The ascending part of the colon is known as ascending, and the total length of overall colon is about 1.5 to 1.8. Okay, so the ascending part is known as ascending colon. This is the transfer part. Transverse part is known as transverse colon, and descending part, which is moving down, that is known as descending colon. And then there is an S-shaped part of the colon, that is known as sigmoid colon. Now at the end of sigmoid colon, the straight part of the large intestine, straight part, which is approximately 2 to 3 centimeter, right? This is known as rectum. And rectum, the last part of the rectum, which is about 2 to 3 centimeter, that is said to be the anal canal. Anal canal is having an opening known as anus. Now see the overall parts of the large intestine. Large intestine is about 1.5 to 1.8 meter long. So different parts, they are named as cecum, appendix, colon. Colon is further divided into ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon, which is also called the pelvic colon, right? So it's having the three flexors, okay, Three bands of flexors are also present in the large intestine. So two are very visible, right and the left colic flexor. So here you are going to find the left flexor or the left band, and here is the right flexor or the right colic flexor. Okay, this is the sigmoid. S-shaped part is the sigmoid colon, and the straight part of the large intestine is known as rectum. And the last 2 to 3 centimeter part of the rectum is known as anal canal. Anal canal is going to open to the outside with the help of an opening which is known as the anus. Anus is also having the smooth muscle layer which is going to control the opening and the closing of this anus. That is known as the anal sphincter. Next we have to learn about the appendix. Right, in the beginning, okay, I told the you can say that inferior part of the large intestine, which is quite swollen, cecum is going to extend backward in the form of a blind sac-like structure which is known as appendix. It is having no known function, but still we can, some scientists, they believe they are having some function in the body. So appendix is a small projection emerging from the cecum. In the human being, the appendix has no known function and is thought to be a remnant from a previous time in the human evolution. In some people, the appendix becomes infected or inflamed. Sometimes food particles, they are going to tangle in the lumen of the appendix, and the appendix is going to become inflamed and swollen, and it is going to have infection. This condition is known as appendicitis. So when this condition is going to be arise, appendix is going to be removed from the body via surgery. So the surgery of appendix is known as appendectomy. I will write over here what is the name of the surgery. The surgery is known as appendectomy, right? Appendectomy. Okay, so surgery, removal of appendix by surgery is known as appendectomy. Okay, now what is the function, okay, which is going to be suggested by some scientists or some people. Appendix contain a small amount of mucus associated with the lymphoid tissue. As it is containing the lymphoid tissue, so it is also secreting mucus, and the lymphoid tissue is going to give the appendix an indeterminate role in the immunity. However, appendix is known to be important in the fetal life as it contains endocrine cells that are going to release biogenic amines and peptide hormone important for the homeostasis for during the early growth and development. So just keep in mind, so the lymphoid tissue present inside the appendix is having a role during the fetal life. So this appendix or its lymphoid tissue is having some endocrine cells which are releasing biogenic amines and peptide hormones. These hormones, they are helping in the homeostasis during the very young age, during the infancy, right? They are helping in the growth and development. Now we have to learn about the functions. So little or no digestion is going to be done in the large intestine. So maximum digestion and absorption of the nutrient is going to be done in the small intestine. Only undigested material water, salts, they are going to enter into the large intestine, right? So no digestion is going to be done here. So but some important roles which are going to be played by the large intestine are as follow. Number one, so large intestine is going to absorb the water, plus it is also going to absorb the bile salts which are present in the bile and electrolytes. So these three things, they are going to be absorbed by the large intestine, and after absorption it is going to send back into the blood. Second function is it is also its lining is feeding the mucus. So mucus is going to lubricate the unwanted or undigested food. It is also going to bind the undigested food to make the feces. It is also going to provide protection from the germs or infection, plus it is going to maintain the pH within the large intestine. Third function is it is helping in the conversion of bilirubins. Bilirubins are actually, these are the, you can say that bilirubins, these are the bile pigments, right? So they are going to be converted, okay? They are converted into uro and saccharinogens, right, which are going back in the bloodstream towards the liver, and they can be utilized once more. And next function is large intestine is the house of intestinal flora. About 800 different kind of bacteria, they are going to reside in the large intestine. So some bacteria, they are going to absorb the vitamins liberated by the bacterial action. For example, vitamin K, vitamin B, and biotin. Biotin is also known as B12. So these hormones are going to be absorbed by bacteria which are going to reside in the large intestine. Plus large intestine is also going to produce intestinal gas, flatus. So large intestine is going to form and store the feces. Unwanted, undigested food is going to be bind and lubricated by the mucus treated by the walls of the large intestine, and they are going to turn into round ball-like structure known as feces. Those feces, they remain stored in the large intestine in the posterior part for some time, and they are going to be carried out, and it is also going to carry out the defecation. So unwanted waste of food is going to be eliminated from the body through the anal canal. When the sphincter present at the anus, they are going to become relaxed. That's it for today.